We have Grandmaster Nodirbek Abdusattorov coming to the game here at the Chennai Grandmasters. He is the number 2 player from Uzbekistan and he is the top rated player in this tournament. 2766 and his opponent Nihal Sarin is not here and already the clocks have started and there you see Nihal Sarin coming to the game. He's a bit late today. I think Nihal in general is quite relaxed. He's had a pretty decent start to the tournament. He has had all draws against Gukesh, Neiman, Firuza, and Andrekin. Meanwhile, for Nodirbek also, it's the same score with 4 draws. The players are ready. And let's see what Nihal plays. As move number 1, he pushes pawn to e4. Comes couple of minutes late to the game. So it's 1:28:40 on the clock. Nodirbek, well, is he going to play e5? At top level chess, you do have e4, e5 as one of the main ways to play, but he goes Sicilian. Nodirbek kind of sat there and he felt the energy to play the Sicilian and he goes for it because generally Nihal does play d4. So here he played e4, c5, knight comes out to f3. And now Nodirbek goes d6. Will be interesting to see what Nihal chooses. He goes bishop to c4. Now this is the line which Magnus played in World Rapid and Blitz a lot. And the plans are very simple for white. What you do essentially is go d3, play castles, bring your rook to e1, play c3, d4. It's a lot like the Italian. d3 played by Nihal. And I wonder if Nodirbek has any specific preparation against this way of playing. I believe Nihal just wants a fight. And you know, Nihal often comes to the games without any real prep. He just wants a fresh game and let's play. And I think that's the attitude with which he's come here as well. Nodirbek goes knight to c6, brings his knight out. And Nihal castles. Black can go for e6 setup with bishop e7 or can also go for g6, bishop g7. He goes for g6. He's going to put his pawn to g7 and then castle it out. And I believe rook e1 or c3 in any order is the best way to continue. Yes, c3 played. And Nodirbek now goes bishop to g7. And now Nihal continuing with the Magnus plan, rook e1. So the plan is now to play d4 in the center. And I'm curious to see what he does. He castles here. And now the thing is, if we play d4 directly, he first plays a4, which is logical because if you went d4, pawn takes, and bishop g4 puts pressure here, or there's also d5 break. So Nihal goes a4, b6, and now maybe d4 is possible because of this move b6. But okay, you can even go h3. He goes bishop g5. Interesting move. I'm not sure what the bishop is doing here. I mean, you can ask a question to the bishop, but he plays his bishop to b7. Now Nihal can go queen d2, trying to trade the bishops here. His knight can go to a3 then. But he brings his knight to d2. Somehow the pieces don't seem to be functioning together as a team for white. And now e6 played here by Nodirbek. I guess he wants to play pawn to d5 if possible. And maybe dropping the bishop back to b3 seems logical. Yes, with this, he can bring his bishop back to c2 and then try for d4 break once again. Just 11 moves have been made. Both players have taken 10 minutes on the clock. And Nodirbek pushes the bishop to 8 with pawn to h6. We have bishop coming back to e3. Maybe bishop h4 was better, because now can we go knight g4? Maybe he wants to come out bishop f4. So queen c7 played by Nodirbek. h3, stopping knight g4. And now we have rook coming to d8. Okay, black pieces are all well positioned for any central break. d5 or e5. Nihal goes knight f1, but I wonder where the knight is heading. It's one of those positions where white has their pieces placed like they have developed, but they are doing nothing much. In fact, a very strong move now is pawn to e5. Fantastic move, because what Nodirbek essentially understands is that d5 is unstoppable. So e5 he can play against space. Queen c1, attacking the pawn on h6. Okay, just defend it. King h7. There's no need for any panic. King h7. And now the next move is d5. You have knight to h2 and knight a5 played, attacking the bishop here and preparing the move pawn to d5. And the thing is, Nihal wanted to go to g4. So for example, let's say if d5 takes, knight takes, maybe there was some ideas of knight g4 here, but first knight a5, bishop c2, and now d5 looks strong. But he plays even stronger move, c4. And now the weakness of the e4 pawn starts to show. So pawn takes pawn. You can take knight takes. You can even think about taking on e4. So black has many different ways to play. He goes bishop e4. Okay, maybe b3. What else? Otherwise you will lose a pawn for free. He goes knight d2, attacks the bishop, defends the pawn. But can we take and play knight c4? No, he simply goes back bishop b7. That's such amazing understanding, because doing this was also fine. But bishop b7, keeping the bishop on this diagonal, now attacking c4. b3 could be played, but he goes queen d1. Well, the thing is, if you played b3, then d5 was a very powerful strike, attacking this and so on. So that's why queen d1. And again he goes d5, not getting tempted to win this pawn, which was fine. But Nodirbek opts for central play, d5, pawn takes pawn. You can take back with the knight. I mean, the way in which Nodirbek has been playing out of the opening in 20 moves, getting this position, it does feel that Nihal was nowhere close to his level. Look at this move, queen c1. He's played queen c1, then d1, then again queen c1. Just completely confused. And f5. I think Nodirbek's just enjoying himself here. f4 will trap the bishop on e3. There's nowhere to go. So knight comes to f3, making space for the bishop to come back. I'm not sure. Maybe e4, then f4. He goes knight to c4, attacking with both the knights. Bishop comes back to b3. Can we take here? Nodirbek says there's no hurry. Why should I take and, leave the tension? Let me play. Let me just bring all my pieces. Queen c2. And now e4. He gets the move in. I mean, you do give up the square on d4 to the knight. But what else? I mean, knight d4. And now there are some very nice tactics. Knight e3, f e3, knight e3, rook e3, and rook takes d4. And this is actually a very nice variation, which gives a winning position here with f4. But he goes knight e5. He doesn't take here twice, He goes knight e5, looking at the d3 square. Knight comes to f1. And anyway, knight e1, knight d3, attacking e1, b2, also threatening f4. Knight d3 played. The rook is attacked. Rook d1. And let's go f4 now. Pushing forth. He plays pawn to a6. Okay, this is just a little bit of a sadistic move, stopping even that final activity with knight b5. Nihal comes back. Well, I mean, how do you even try to defend here? It's too difficult. And knight takes f2 taken by Nodirbek. Tactics are coming in. If king takes f2, he spotted e3, takes e3, knight e3, knight e3, bishop e3. Do you see the finishing blow here? So knight e3, bishop e3, rook e3, king e3, and queen g3 check. And it's game over, because here I have queen takes g2 and then bishop here. And otherwise, if king d2, there is bishop takes d4 and problems here. So all these issues, he goes back king g1, he takes on d2, rook d2, and knight to f4 played. Attacking here, rook f2. And now knight takes g2 is even possible. And he takes, look at Nodirbek, the way he's simply playing here, takes, and then rook takes d4 is winning here. The pawn takes, check, and just this entire thing is winning. So he goes knight e6, rook e6, bishop e6. And now Nihal is an exchange up, but knight goes to h4. Look at this king. The bishop looking here, the knight threatening here. It's just game over. Rook, queen e2. And now queen to c5. He goes queen c6. Threatening mate in one. Knight g3. Stopping it. And there are many ways to win, but rook e8 is nice. Oh, there is some tactics with bishop d5, rook e2, bishop c6, rook f2 and takes. Yeah, that's just winning. So rook e1. And now a very cool move. Pawn to f4. If the knight moves, it's a mate. If you take with the rook, then I have rook takes e6, queen takes e6, and queen g2 mate. And this is just complete domination, I would say, by Nodirbek in this entire game. He played the opening well, and Nihal resigns. Well, for Nihal, I think this is a game that he would want to quickly forget, because Nodirbek just completely dominated out of the opening. I think till move 10 or so, it was fine. But then something went wrong. Maybe this plan of knight d2, knight f1, of moving that knight, was not the best. And what is very impressive in this game is that after it ended, you can see we've just made the video, fast forwarded it, and Nihal actually discussed quite a lot with Nodirbek, maybe close to 2-3 minutes. They spoke about different possibilities, and I think it's useful for Nihal in his next games when he might play similar openings or similar ideas. With this, Nodirbek actually goes to +1. So +2 is where the leaders are, and so he is half a point shy of the leaders. And there you see Nodirbek looking very satisfied with today's performance.
Abdusattorov, happy International Chess Day.